Hi there, thanks for joining me today on Naturally Curious UK. In this video we're going to be taking a little look at my journey into nature photography. If you're somewhere on that journey yourself, then hopefully there'll be aspects of my story that you can relate to. My original idea for this video was really just to make it a kind of promo for my Flickr photo stream, but then I thought, why not use it to tell the story of my journey into nature photography, as that is something which I've kind of already done before, as a slideshow presentation for a nature photography group I belong to. I called that presentation Naturally Curious, a title which later, with the addition of the suffix UK, became my YouTube channel name. So, when did I start on this journey? I suppose it would have been back when I first bought a bridge camera in 2007, and this was it, a Fujifilm FinePix S5600 with 10x optical zoom and various different modes. One of the best things about it was that it was the first camera I'd owned which had any sort of control over shutter speed, aperture and ISO, thereby providing me with a hands-on way of learning about exposure control. And as is inevitably the case with a new camera, my first shots were close to home, in the garden. Even from childhood, my first love nature-wise was birds, so unsurprisingly, many of my early photos were attempts at getting decent shots of garden birds. Nothing outstanding, but occasionally I capture some interesting behaviour. Staying with the garden, it was inevitable that I'd end up pointing my camera at plants. This one is the unopened flower bud of an oriental poppy. When it came to getting close-up shots, I'd read in the camera manual that, set to its minimum zoom, or wide angle, the camera could focus to 10 cm, whereas at maximum zoom, or telephoto, the closest it could focus was 90 cm. I took this to mean that it was best to use minimum zoom for close-up photography. The trouble is that, especially with the small sensor size of a bridge camera, you end up with very great depth of focus and no isolation of the principal subject. I later discovered that by backing off somewhat and using maximum zoom, I could get a much shallower depth of focus and a far more pleasing result. These two uncropped photos of the same dandelion flower were both taken on the S5600. See the difference? One's wide angle, close up, and the other is telephoto, but with me backed off. A little post-production on the second photo resulted in this really rather pleasing image. Beyond the garden, it was the territory between home and work and the places in the UK where we went on holiday that provided my subject matter. This photo of a starling on a dumpster was taken in the service yard behind where I work, using my car as a hide. As is often the way with hobbies like photography, after an initial period of enthusiastic activity, I lapsed into a somewhat fallow period. Fortunately though, it got kick-started again, largely thanks to a couple of very good friends of mine who I know through church, Gary and Mandy Clarkson, who are both very accomplished photographers. For a while at the church, on the first Sunday of the month, a few of us would go out with our cameras for a couple of hours after the morning service. Also, on one occasion, Gary, Mandy and I went on a photo experience day to a big cat centre in Kent. As a result of these various sorties, I began to see the benefits of upgrading to a DSLR, and in December 2010 I bought Mandy's Canon 400D from her, along with some suitable lenses, one of which is still my main workhorse lens today. Fast forwarding a bit now to September 2012, and Mandy tipped me off to the existence of a new nature photography group which had just started meeting a couple of evenings a month just a few minutes up the road from where I work. Over the past few years, my friends at the Langdon Nature Photography Group have been an immense boon to me in imparting knowledge, experience, inspiration and encouragement. Most of our meetings are show and tell evenings, where we each bring along a few photos to show and share the stories behind them. No competitions, just friendly, mutual appreciation and constructive critique of one another's work. I love the fact that it's a group for nature photography rather than just wildlife, as it means that it encompasses landscapes and weather and other natural phenomena too. These days my main camera is a Canon 60D which I bought in 2014. With its HD video capability, it also set me off down the path of short filmmaking, and hence many of the videos on this channel. Right, well I think it's about time I started wrapping this up. I hope you'll take a few moments to have a look at my Flickr photo stream and see how my photography has progressed over time. It's not exclusively nature, but it is mostly, and I've left a link to it in the description, so do please check it out. So there you have it. That's the story of my journey into nature photography. Obviously it's a journey I'm still on, and no doubt there'll be more twists and turns along the way, but that's all part of the fun, isn't it? All that remains is for me to give my usual sign off and say, don't forget to keep enjoying the wonders of nature where you are.